So today we are here to discuss the topic Introduction to the Project Management. Myself, Shwetab Singh, working as an assistant professor, KIT Group of Institution, Ghaziabad. Now, first of all, we have to talk about the objectives of the project scheduling. Now, prepare an optimal project schedule in the term of cost, time, or the risk. What we have to do, we have to prepare the project schedule in the terms of the cost, time, and third factor is the risk factor. Now, usually, we when we focus on these three parameters, we cannot control it simultaneously. So what we are doing, we just do that. We just control the two factors, and on the basis of third variable, we just optimize the two variable. Okay. Next is what is all about the project. A project is a series of the activities directed to accomplishment of a desired objective. Now, first of all, we have to understand what the project is. Now for the project, we are just setting a desired objective that what we have to achieve. Now we have to start it, and from the starting to the ending point, there are some certain activities which can be carried out in order to come from the starting point to the ending point. So basically, a project is a series of the activities which can be counted from the starting point till till it continue up to when it reach the final point. Okay. Now project management is evolved to coordinate and control all the project activities in an efficient and cost effective manners. Now what the project management is basically a field which control the all the project activities. What the project activities? The activities between the starting and the ending of our project. Okay. So for what purpose he just coordinate and control? He just working on the two things: efficient and cost effective manners. Efficient means efficient use of resources, as well as a project management must coordinate and control all activities in a cost effective manner also. Next is the salient feature of the project. What are the salient feature of project? A project has the identifiable beginning and the end points. Okay. Now, as we see earlier, what the all about the project is? Project is basically accomplishment of the desired objective. So, first feature is we have a identified beginning and the end point. Okay. Now, second point is each project can be broken down into a number of identifiable activities which will consume the time and other resources during their completion. What what the second point signify? It signify that that whatever the activity lies between the starting and ending point, just we have to allocate some time so that each activity must be carried out and must be finished, and we have to allocate the resources during their completion. Okay. Third point is a project is scheduled to be completed by a target date. This is mandatory, means project is scheduled means it must be stick to the target date. A project must be finished by a target date. Next is a project is usually large and complex and has many interrelated activities. Project is basically large and it consists of so many activities, and all of the activities are interrelated to the each other. Okay. Now execution of the project activities is always subjected to the some uncertainties and the risk. Okay. Now what this point signify? That in the earlier point we just comes into the understanding that that all the activities between the starting and ending point must have some duration. Okay. So these activities are subjected to the some uncertainties. What type of uncertainty? Sometime material may not come, sometime labor, sometime there will be the environmental issue, sometime there will be the rise of the wages demanded by the employee. Okay. And there will be some risk also involving in while for the completion of the activity. Risk, what type of risk is? Sometime work may be stopped as you require the special purpose machine. As government change, then the government policy will also impact the execution of the project. So all the activities will be subjected to the some uncertainties and the risk. So for the drawing of the interrelated activities, from the starting to the ending point, we just draw a certain diagram that is known as the network diagram. So what the network diagram is, it splits the decision making process. What it does, it basically splits the decision making process into three conditions. First is the method or the logic. Method or the logic means the order in which tasks have to be completed, because as we discussed earlier, a project is a very large and complex. Okay, so in the case of a large projects, uh, many activities were interrelated to the each other. So we have to provide some sequence which activity would come first and which activity would come last. So the network diagram provide a certain solution for this type of problem. Next is the time. What for the time defined, it estimate the time to the completion, okay, completion of the each and every task. Okay, for now as we define the sequence, the next thing is we have to define the time for which certain activity must be completed. Okay, next is the resources. Now as we provide the time, we have to allocate the resources for the successful completion of the activity also. Okay, and we have to go for the analysis also. Now, a network is the graphical representation of the project activities arranged in a logical sequence and depositing all the interrelationship amongst them. Okay, the network, what the network is? A network is basically a graphical representation showing all the logical sequence and define all the interrelationship exist among the activities which prevail in the project. Okay, basically a network consists of the activities and the events. Okay, what the activity is, an activity is a physically identifiable part of a project which consumes both time and resources. Okay, an activity is something which consumes both your time as well as your resources. Okay, now we talk about the network fundamentals, and we just talk about the activity. What the activity is, the activity basically consumes the time. Okay, and as we all know that a project has a identifiable starting and ending point, so activity basically also defined with the time also. Next is the event. How can we define the event? It designates the beginning or ending of the activity. Okay, it also shows the precedence relationship of the activity. For example, if a certain activity exists between A to B, then A and B are the events, and the activity can be denoted by the arrow. Okay, okay. So the if the activity exists between A to B, it basically show the event show the relationship of the precedence, means B means A is the predecessor of B. Okay, while B is the successor of A. So in this way event basically define the relationship of the activities. Next is the network. What the network is? Network is a combination of activity and the events that describe the logic of the project. What we have to go for? We have to go for the logic of the project, which basically include activity and the event in a certain manner, so that it provide the logic to the project, and it basically have one definite starting and definite ending point. Okay, now as we see in the figure, this is a certain sort of the network representation in which A, B, C are the activity, and something circle in this basically define the events. Okay, now what this arrow define, the head of an arrow represent the end of the activity. The activity start from this point and end up to this point. So basically the head of an arrow represent the end of the activity A stop here. Okay, and the tail of the arrow represent the start. Okay, now how can we describe the activity can be described in the two manner. First, one manner is that we can define with the symbols, or we can define with the numbers. Okay, next is the predecessor activities. All those activities which must be completed before the start of the activity are called as predecessor activity. Means uh, means if B is the activity, then predecessor of B is activity A. Okay, by this way we can define the predecessor activity. Now next is all those activities which have to follow the activity under the consideration are called as successor activities. Okay. Now, if we look toward this figure, then B is the successor of A. When A is completed, after the completion of A, B will be start. So B is the successor of A. Now we talk about a dummy activity. A dummy activity is an activity which is used to maintain the predefined precedence relationship only during the construction of the project network. Okay. Now this activity is introduced only it provides a certain logic to the network. Okay. The main objective is we have to provide the logic to the network. So we have to introduce a dummy activity. Now dummy activity is basically represented by the dotted arrow. Okay. The notation is simple. It can be defined with a dotted arrow. So one can easily understand that this is a dummy activity. Now dummy activity does not consume any time and resources. Here the time is 0 and resource allocation will be 0. Okay. Next is we have to define the path. How can we define the path? Path is an unbroken chain of activities between any two events is called a path. Okay. Now, next is how can we, what are the rules for defining the network diagram? Rule number 1 is each activity is represented by one and only one arrow. Okay. Each activity is represented by only one arrow. Rule number 2 is no two activity can be defined by the same and event. For example, if we look towards these event, if this is event number 2, this is event number 3. Now event number 3 can be completed by activity B and activity C also. So this type of activity will not be performed. Okay, it violates the network diagram. So it will violate the rule for the network diagram. So what is the right method? Right method is we have to introduce the dummy activity. So while the activity B is there, dummy activity is introduced. So dummy activity means time is 0, resource allocation will be 0. So no activities can be identified by the same and events. Next is precedence relationship among all activity must always be maintained. Okay, means the precedence activity must be exist in the network diagram. Without any precedence activity, your network diagram will not provide any logic. Okay, so precedence must be maintained. Next is the rule number 4. Dummy activity can be used to maintain only when actually required. Their use should be minimized in the network diagram. Okay, what we have to do? We have to use dummy activity in order to provide the logic. But the dummy activity use must be minimized and can be used as minimum as possible in your logical network. Now rule number 5 is looping among the activity must be avoided. Means the arrow must be moved in the forward direction, not in the reverse direction. So looping will not be allowed. Means some arrows are moving in the forward direction, some are in the reverse direction. So in order to form the loop, so we have to avoid the looping. So these are some rules for in order to draw the network diagram. So here we also define the dummy activity, an imaginary activity which does not consume any resources and time is called dummy activity, as we discussed earlier. Dummy activity is simply used to represent the connection between the events in order to maintain the logic in the network, that we have to provide the logic in the network. Now we take some problems in order to understand how we draw a network. For example, activity A exists for the purchase of a land, predecessor not applicable. B, preparation of building plan. So these are some activity which have to be represented on the network. So how can we draw? We just take the first event because the predecessor are absent. Predecessors are absent for the A and B. So we just take the event. From the event, activity A exists, activity B exists. Okay. Now next is what is the C predecessor is A. So from the A we draw the C activity. Okay. Similarly, for the D predecessor is A and B. Okay, you draw A to C, you draw B to D. Okay, but if you draw this A to this point, then rule number 2 will be violated. So what we have to do? We have to introduce the dummy activity. So first of all, we use dummy activity, then move towards the D. Okay, next for the E predecessor will be C. So simple, for the E predecessor is C. Next is for the F predecessor is D. Now for the F predecessor is D. Okay, so starting point is there or ending point is there. So by this we can draw the network representation by following certain rules and regulations